49ers Ultimate Report. This is John J., your 49ers reporter, opinionist, analyst, and die-hard fan. Welcome to another episode of the 49ers Ultimate Report. I am John J. And before we jump into the episode, I want to give a shout out to all of my followers, my subscribers, the viewers, and any new 49er faithful who have stumbled upon my channel. I love talking 49ers football. But today we have a very fun show today. It is Saturday. That means tomorrow it's 49ers football, and we're playing the Denver Broncos. We are playing the Denver Broncos on prime time. So everyone, after all the morning, afternoon games, will be keeping their eyes on that 5:20 game with the 49ers and the Denver Broncos. So you guys know what happens every Saturday. We have great fans on. I want to give a shout out to my boy Steezy A. Smith, the Seattle Seahawks content creator and Seahawks sports analyst and journalist. So shout out to my boy Steezy A. Smith for being part of the show. He will be on the show again later in the year. But now we have a great guest on. This is a very rare guest that we're going to have on. We're playing the Denver Broncos. And, of course, John J. did this great research, and he brought in a great guest. Hopefully you guys enjoy this guest. And also, let's not forget sometimes John J.'s guests are ladies. So let me give you a quick introduction. YouTube channel is called Broncos for Dummies. So if you are a Broncos fan, don't know too much of the game, it's a quick, informative YouTube channel. Let's bring on the host of Broncos for Dummies. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, John?
I'm doing well. And again, thanks for hopping on. And I know you're going to tell us some great stuff about your Denver Broncos.
Of course. Yes, I am. Some fabulous stuff.
Yes. And of course, for a lot of my fans, we always forget there are ladies who also like football, just like us in the 49ers community. You know, John Jason to be a little bit biased, but the ladies of the Niners community are probably the best. You know, maybe I'm just biased. I'm biased.
I think so, but it's fine.
So I want to say hello to those in the chat. And of course, Denver Broncos guy, Dylan Miller, the GOAT. What's up, 49ers? What is up, Dylan Miller, the GOAT? He's a diehard Broncos fan. And he's been trolling me during this offseason, but he's a good dude. Shout out to Dylan Miller, the GOAT. Of course, my boy Bryant. Shout out to one of the GOATs of the Niners community, Brian, one of the OGs. Thanks for tuning in. We got Kimberly in the house as well. All right, let's see who else is in the building. We got my boy Damian Lee, who's saying what's up to my boy Damian Lee. All right. Brian says, John J., it's almost game day. Let's go beat the Broncos. I don't know how you feel about that. Yeah.
It's going to be a tight game. That's for sure.
And Dylan says, finally, someone in the stream that knows my team. All right. So Dylan is proud that there's a Broncos supporter because he's been trolling me all offseason.
About what has he been trolling you about?
He says his team is the best team, yada, yada.
Is he and he's a Broncos fan?
He's a Broncos fan.
Dylan, my guy. Glad to have you here. That's all I have to say.
Don't worry. We're going to have more Broncos fans pop in here talking about how good the Denver Broncos are.
Obviously.
Yes, true. So before we always start the show, we want to get to know our guests. We want to know who they are. So everyone, welcome in our guest, Broncos for Dummies. Talk about your YouTube channel, talk about you, and talk about how you became a Denver Broncos fan.
Yeah, so a little about me and my channel. So I created Broncos for Dummies because I wanted someplace that you can go and get quick little clips of everything in Broncos country. So from breaking down the last game to this past offseason, the Broncos had a complete transformation. So I covered the new coaches. I covered the new ownership. Obviously, our new quarterback. So basically, I consider my place or my channel you go to if you have any questions about what's going on in Broncos country. And I am a proud dummy. So do I know everything? Absolutely not. But I want to make it more digestible so there are more people that want to become fans of football, more specifically Broncos football. So that's about me. And then, I mean, I've been a Denver Broncos fan my entire life. I grew up in Denver. I'm currently in LA, but I love Denver so much. I'm all Denver sports fans, but Broncos is the top tier. So lots of big things happening this
Mhm.
year for Denver. That's for sure.
Yep. All right. He says it's probably going to be a low scoring game, and I have to agree. I think this game's going to be really, really close. All right.
Hmm.
So Dylan says Hackett is looking like the worst coach in the league. I hope he can clean it up. So I don't know how your coach has been doing. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of Broncos games. So what are your thoughts about your head coach?
John, you don't watch Broncos games? What in the world? No, listen, he's been getting a lot of crap these past 2 weeks. And within reason. Like, we are currently the most penalized team in the NFL with 25 penalties. And the second most penalized is 17. So not even close. We have a lot of delay of game penalties. I think it's 4 over the past 2 weeks. So he is he's just struggling to get into the swing of things, which I think we all knew there was going to be speed bumps with a whole new coaching personnel. It's his first time coaching. He was an offensive coordinator for the Packers before, but yeah, it's not looking too hot. I mean, our last game against the Texans, the Broncos fan booed him multiple times. So they were not happy.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
fingers crossed this game we start to see a little difference. And actually, like right before this, I was just reading he just brought on a new coach to help call plays, Jerry Rosberg. I don't know. Uh just found that out. So that might help tomorrow. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I cover the 49ers every single day on my channel. I don't really
mm,
do a lot of my research on the other teams, but during
for
the
sure.
week, during the week when we play a team, I always look at the Denver Broncos. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, maybe you can ask this for me. Like last week, you guys played the Houston Texans.
Mhm.
I saw some of the game. I didn't watch the whole thing. You guys won, but what did the Texans do? Did Texans like like beat you guys, or like what happened, or like were you guys beating yourselves? Like what happened in that game? I was shocked that the Texans.
Yo, it's not what did the Texans do. It's like it's what the Broncos didn't do. Like I mean, listen, we held them to only field goals the entire game. The final score was 16-9, I believe. Only field goals, but it was just I mean, so many like I already said penalties were screwing us all over the board. We um we just couldn't get a pass. And a lot of Broncos country is obviously upset about that because we just paid this huge franchise quarterback to come onto our team. And do I think it's Russell Wilson's fault? I personally don't, in my opinion. I think it's everyone getting into the groove of everything. But also, one thing about me and my channel is I'm extremely optimistic about the Broncos. You're never going to hear me say one bad thing about them. So I'm biased in that sense. So I'm sure there are other Broncos analysts that see it differently. But I think we are getting into the swing of things.
Mhm.
Like I already said, we knew there were going to be speed bumps. And unfortunately, they are a lot bigger than we anticipated from this offseason.
Yeah. All right, we got some new people in the chat. My boy CG Niner Talk says, "Hey John Jay and the Broncos lady, great guest." So
Sick.
that's my boy
Love that
CG.
name. Broncos.
All right, let's see what Brian says. How do you think Brandon will do against Robbie? I don't know why he's talking about specialty. What's up, Brian? So he's a big special teams guy. He likes the kickers. So how do you?
Oh,
Yeah, he likes the kickers. He says, "How do you think Brandon will do against Robbie Gold? Who do you think will be the best kicker?"
obviously Brandon. So what a ridiculous question.
Yeah, no disrespect, to the kickers. I am not a big special teams guy.
No,
So,
yeah.
all right, all right. Oh, I think we had another question. How do you feel about Nathaniel Hackett as head coach? What does he have to do? Need to do to improve? I think you already answered that question.
A little bit. And like honestly, one thing I think, well, Broncos country wants him fired already. It's like week 2 and they're like burning him at the stake. But I think Nathaniel Hackett was a great hire versus our old coaching personnel because he just brought a whole new energy into Broncos country. I mean, we had Vic Fangio before that, and it was very like old school coaching, what the coach says goes. It wasn't very fun at practice, and Nathaniel Hackett brought in this whole new energy. So I like him in that sense. I think he just needs to shake off the nerves. I think he can absolutely call the right plays, get the game going on time, but I think he's still working on it. He has quite a lot to improve on.
Yep. All right. So Dylan Miller, the GOAT, says, I think we have 2 key things to fix. Need to score in the goal line, okay? And we need to fix up the penalties. Yeah, you talked about that. And our defense has been good, but to be fair, hasn't seen a real offense. Do you agree with Dylan?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we're one of 2 who haven't scored in the red zone in the NFL so far. And we've gotten touchdowns, not in the red zone. We just can't do it in the red zone. But yeah, defense is showing up. I mean, we've always had a really strong defense for the past few years, but offense, it's just, and we had a couple of injuries of our star players last game, hoping that they'll be playing this game. So yeah, I absolutely agree 100% with what Dylan said. Our offense, we just need to get in the groove. It's all new quarterback, new team, everything like that.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of new quarterbacks, Russell Wilson has only played 2 games with the squad, but after watching those 2 games, like what have you seen from Russell Wilson? Do you still see that same Russell Wilson when he was at Seattle, or do you think Russell Wilson, is just, it's still taking time for him to understand, a new place, a new system? So you watched them in 2 games against the Seattle Seahawks, his former team, and the Houston Texans. I just want to get your thoughts on Russell Wilson.
Well, I definitely think, I mean, did I watch him in Seattle besides when they absolutely destroyed us in the Super Bowl? No. That was my one of only interactions with Russell Wilson. So it was not a great interaction. But his first 2 games, in my opinion, he's doing great. I mean, we have him for the next, I think, 7 years, 5 years guaranteed. So he's with us for a while. And anyone that says that he's not showing up or he's rusty or whatnot, like, you're gonna be with a new team. Like, if he came in hot and we were getting completions every pass, like, that'd be a miracle. And I praise God for that. But I think he's warming up, and I think he's going to be our quarterback, and he's going to get us a couple Super Bowls. You heard it here first. I don't know when, but he will.
All right, so my boy Brian has a question. He says, what is your thoughts on Corliss Waitman?
Waitman, yeah, our punt return. So he's fine. I mean, like, do I know much about him? No, but I know that we signed him because we didn't want to pay for Sam Martin's contract, which was our punter for a while. So far, like, no red flags I've seen. He's kicked the ball nicely. That's what I'll say about it.
All right. Crazy Jews, my boy out there in the great LA area. He's in Los Angeles, big 49er fan.
Love it.
Shout out my boy Crazy Juice. He lives at 49ers territory because, hey, Rudy, if you are listening, there are no Rams fan in LA. I just wanted to say that. But I like Rudy. He's a diehard Rams fan. But Crazy Juice says, are you scared of Nick Bosa?
I'm not going to lie. Why don't I know who that is?
He's the 49ers pass rusher, number 97.
Oh.
The younger brother of Joey.
What? Sorry.
He's the younger brother of Joey Bosa.
Oh, okay. You know what? No. I mean, should we be? Probably. I'm sure he's great, but like, how much do I know about Niners? Like, not much at all. I mean, but I'm sure it's someone to be scared of.
Yeah, Nick Bosa is the best edge rushers in the NFL. He's gonna sack Russell Wilson 3 times, but I'm just just stating.
Okay, 3 times. Oh my God, I'll message you if that happens.
That's why I don't do no predictions. I'm just like, Nick Bosa's good. That's all I want to say.
I believe it.
All right. So CG says, "What's up with Gordon having ball security?" I don't know. I know that was that play at the week 1 where he fumbled the ball, but
Mhm.
has he been fumbling the ball a lot?
Um, for the time that he's been with the Broncos, he's like a pretty polarizing running back just because a lot of people think that he can't hang on to the ball. He does have a lot of drops, but he's also a great running back. So is that something he needs work on? 1,000,000,000%. But he's still one of our starting running backs with Javonte Williams. And if you follow my channel, you know I'm obsessed with Javonte Williams. So I'm always like, give Williams the ball, let him run. But is Melvin Gordon so bad with the ball that I think we need to drop him? No, personally, but
Yeah. All right. I want to shout out to the GOAT. The GOAT. He's the real GOAT, my boy Corey Davis. Hopefully having a good day out there. If I remember, in Richmond, California, in the Bay Area, my boy Corey Davis, the GOAT. Also, Corey Davis, hopefully you're doing well because I know you've been telling me you've been going through some health issues. So shout out to the boy, the man, the myth. He's not the myth, he's the legend. My boy Corey Davis. Yeah. Corey Davis. He's the OG of the Niners. He's seen it all, way more games than I have. So that's why he's called the GOAT. Dylan says not to worry about punting this game. So he's saying that the punters are not going to be part of this game. All right. All right. All right. I'm terrified of Kittle after what he did last time. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what did Kittle do the last time, because the last time he was on the field was last year, because he has not played yet. So I want to know what he is talking about. All right. Now George Kittle has done a lot of things, so I don't have time to like talk about all of them on my stream. CG says, "Great stream, John J. Broncos lady." Wow, Broncos. I'll check out your reactions. Let the best team win. Facts. That's true.
go Broncos.
Yeah. Brian says, Jacob. All right, that's a difficult name to pronounce. In your opinion, is he a top 10 long snapper? I don't know who that person is. That's a difficult name
Me
for me to pronounce.
neither. I mean,
gonna...
if he's on the Broncos, that's my bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Brian, I know you love special teams so much, man, but you're stumping me and my guest.
But also, it's easy to stump me. Like I'm setting the grounds. Javonte Williams is a beast.
Oh, and speaking
Sorry,
of,
I read that faster.
I don't. And speaking of this, there is an NFL scout, also an NFL reporter who I got to know last year. Now he covers the Raiders. He used to cover the Niners, but he said Javonte Williams was going to be a steal because he thought he was a first-round talent. Now, I forgot when he got drafted, what round he got drafted, but I watched him in college, and he shared backs with another running back. But this guy was really, really good, and I'm surprised that he fell. I don't know what round, but I don't think he was drafted in the first round. So
I think he was 5th round.
Yeah.
He was down there, but I mean, definitely fact check me someone, but he was not 1st or 2nd.
Yeah. So my boy David is in the house out in the great state of Utah. See, 49er fans are everywhere. He said she will definitely know who Nick Bosa is after the game. Wow. So
I bet I will. I know who Nick Bosa is now. So
yeah. All the Niner fans are saying Nick Bosa is the best defensive player right now. I have to agree. Dylan says he set his career high yards in a game the last time he played. That was like in 2018. That was like a while ago. And that team was a horrible team. It was just Kittle. That was our offense. That was just Kittle. That's why he got so many yards. Brian says, "What you?" Oh man, let me read. Oh, more field goals. What do you feel? What's your feeling on field goal attempts against Seattle? Do you think it was the right call, or should Russell have gone for it on 4th down?
Yeah, just a little background information in case you weren't watching that game. Basically, we had, I mean, I don't remember the gist of it, but we had a little time left. You could either go for a 64-yard field goal or go for, I think it was 4 or 5 yards. And Nathaniel Hackett chose to kick it, and we missed and we lost the game by 1 point. So a lot of Broncos country was up in arms, and they're like, why are you not giving the ball to Russell Wilson, who we just paid $250 million, you know? It's tricky. I do think they should have given the ball to Russell to let him prove it. I mean, he cooks under pressure. That's like what he's known for. But it's hard because I know Brandon McManus, our kicker, was telling our coach, Nathaniel Hackett, like, hey, man, I got this, 64 yards, like, I can do this, which would have been a career record and also, I think, second longest in the NFL. So as a new coach, of course, I don't know. Nathaniel Hackett's such a lovable guy that he's like, okay, if you're telling me you can do it, you can do it. Let's see it. I think that's what happened. I don't know obviously for sure, but I see why Nathaniel Hackett made the call. But do I think they should have given it to Russell? Yes, absolutely.
All right. So Dylan says second round. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Round. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry, Javonte Williams. I should know more.
That's all right. No worries. even I get things wrong. Sometimes my fans know more than me. So
that's
it's always
great.
Always fun. Like I'm not perfect. I make mistakes too. I get a lot of things wrong. That's why I don't do no predictions. I stay away from that. See,
right.
The greatest 49er fan says, who is your 5 greatest Denver Broncos player?
5 greatest? My favorite my favorite first player ever was John Lynch. He was a safety. So that's like my very first jersey ever. And then obviously you got to put up John Elway, Peyton Manning. Those are the easy ones. I would say Von Miller. Love that guy. Really sad when he left. And Javonte Williams. I'm just going with Javonte Williams. That's what I call him.
Cool. All right. My boy Reaper Cobra 96 is in the building. George Kittle almost broke the record against you guys. Do you think he's going to have a similar game? Ooh, so Reaper Cobra thinks there's a possibility that he might break the record against you guys. So that'll be fun.
No.
Hey, anything can happen. You know
I know, right? Probably.
That's true. That is true. All right, so let's talk about some players. One player. Comparing. Like 2 players, and we're gonna talk about some 49ers and Broncos players, some top players to watch. And of course, we already talked about Nick Bosa, but you guys have, your own top defensive player. Mm-hmm. His name is Bradley Chubb. Tell us about Bradley Chubb and how good he is.
So Bradley, we got him. I think he was, oh my God, Dylan, come for me. I think we got him first round years ago, but he was supposed to be our star player to play with Von Miller. And since we've had him 4 years now, 5 years, he has always been injured. Like he's never played one full season. So we've never seen him at his full potential. So I think it's really exciting to see what he's got. But I mean, if I had to choose between Bradley Chubb and then we just traded Randy Gregory, I think I would go with Randy Gregory. Might be our better passer. Oh my God, Broncos country is going to kill me for saying that. I don't know. We've seen more from Randy Gregory than Bradley Chubb so far. At least I have.
All right. My boy Bryant has a question. He says, do you own a personalized jersey?
Damn, no, I don't. I should. I don't know what I'm doing. I really want to create one that says dummy on the back. So that's my my next investment.
Yeah. All right. So Dylan wants to say he's not going to have a similar game fresh off injury. When it comes to Kittle, he's missed the first 2 games. He's had a groin injury. I used to play baseball, so I can tell you right now, when someone who's running, that's a frequent injury, so it's not fun, and it's not like any other injury. It takes time for that injury. All right. Do I think he will have a good game? Yes. All right. So Dylan says Kittle's gonna have a good game, but not record sending. All right. My boy Bryant says, how long have you been a Broncos fan, and how did you become a fan? I think you already talked about that, but just remind Brian.
Yeah, but real quick, I'm from Denver, so that's why. So years and years and years. And just growing up, my parents were huge Broncos fans. And because they're the best team in the NFL. So that's why.
No, that's not true. We all know the best
Ah,
team is the yeah. And
yeah,
also,
agree to disagree.
I also want to remind this the 49ers and the Broncos. I think I remember they played in a thing called a Super Bowl, and I think the score was 55-10. I could be wrong because remember I'm wrong a lot. So I just wanted to
I
say.
no, it's fine. Say that. Just rub it in.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's go back to what Brian says. Do you think the Broncos missed out by not signing and starting Jerry Rice and letting him retire? What? What he's talking about?
I'm no, I mean, but I'm not like I'm never I analyze what we have. I don't analyze what we don't. So I'm never sort of looking at the players that are outside of Broncos or the team. So don't really have an answer for you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he would
So
have been great.
mhm, yeah. So that's something I did not know from Bradley Chubb because I've been told Bradley Chubb, has played games, but for you telling me that he's missed time again, I don't really watch the Broncos like seriously,
Mhm.
but what I do know about Nick Bosa, he's the younger brother of Joey Bosa. He plays with one of your rivals in that division. And Nick Bosa is better than his brother, which is kind of weird. And in his second season, he had a ACL injury, and he came back last year. And wow, like the Bosas, I don't know what they're made of. And a friend of mine, he's a big fan of what's that cartoon? Not cartoon, a comic book called X-Men. And one of the X-Men has like these nails that come out of his arm. And yeah, he told me that Nick Bosa has those metal bones. So I would have to agree because I've seen that X-Men guy. Again, I'm not a big comic book person, so I'm the wrong person. So, but that's a good example. So that's how good Nick Bosa is. He's like a superhero.
He's an X-Men.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Pff, big
yeah,
standards we got.
true. All right, now let's talk about some other players. Of course, the 49ers. We got Charvarius Ward. You know him. He played against you guys when he was with the Chiefs. So you probably seen him a lot. But you guys have this guy called Patrick Surtain. Was considered the best corner I think last year in the draft. So what are your thoughts of
Mhm.
Patrick Surtain?
He's been great. I mean, and he's lived up to everything that we hoped for him. And even in his second year, he's doing great. He did get injured last game, but it's day to day. So I'm hoping he's going to be playing tomorrow. I think he practiced I think yesterday. So fingers crossed. But I mean, he's killing it. I no complaining there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and I know I'm going to get a little bit of a disagreement, but I felt that Asante Samuel was the best corner in that draft, and then right behind him was J.C. Horn, who went to the Panthers, and I had Patrick Surtain because I also do drafting and I analyze, but Patrick Surtain, he's good. Um, I've heard a lot of great stuff about him, not just from the Broncos media, but even other medias that have played against him. They said this guy is really good. So, you know, and of course our quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, and of course a lot of the ladies call him handsome Garoppolo because people say he has the jawline of some guy called the Superman. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
so, so
He's nice to look at.
yeah. So speaking of Jimmy Garoppolo, and I have to ask this question, and so you've seen Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo has that face of a Superman character?
Of course. Of course. Do I wish he was our quarterback just so I could look at him a little bit more? Of course I do. But
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's fine too.
Yeah. So I want to apologize, but my boy Tommy Huxley is in the building. He's a joker. He says Broncos sucks. Yeah.
Very
What's up,
cut and
Tom?
dry. Love it, Tommy.
Yeah. David says 1989 we destroyed the Broncos. I don't know what that's supposed to be. All right, those little emojis.
Love it. Love it.
All right. Dylan says Bradley Chubb has potential but needs to prove it this season. I do believe if Chubb plays to his best, we will be better than Randy Gregory.
Mhm.
Mhm. All right.
Valid. Yeah.
Yep. Tommy says Wolverine, so I don't know what he's talking. Shout out my
You were
boy
talking
Tommy.
about the X-Men, the nails or whatever.
Yeah.
Was that the
Wolverine. There you go. Wolverine.
Okay. Okay.
So,
You said nails. Actually, I don't know. Well, I was literally thinking nails for a hammer. I was like, huh, interesting. They love things with sharp things coming out of hands for X-Men. That makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah. My back in 2010, my buddy dragged me with some of his friends to that thing in San Diego where everyone dressed up like a superhero. And
Comic-Con, yeah.
that thing, yeah. So my buddy, he had those whatever claws or whatever, and I was like, okay, so is this like a Halloween party? Yada yada. So that's not my scene. Again, I was that boy who hung out with the football team, with the baseball team, with the basketball team. People say I was like the cool guy, but I never got into those comic book stuff. So people say
Too cool for comic books.
yeah,
I get it.
there you go. Like what do you call that? The popular person. I would not consider myself a popular person. I just loved hanging out with my great friends, being outside. So people say, "Oh, you go outside too much, John Jay. Go inside and watch TV." All right, whatever. I'm not an indoor person. The last couple of years, I've learned to enjoy being inside. Anyway,
well, yes, as we all have had to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Dylan says these two corners aren't even the same level as PS2. That's what he calls Patrick Surtain. Is a stud and has locked up any receiver. He's held Jamar Chase to 7 yards. All right. That's good to hear. All right. Dylan also said he locked up Tyreek, Keenan Allen, and BK. All right, that's cool. All right, my boy Tommy says Surtain was in Alabama. Okay, yeah. All right. So Brian says Livermore. I don't know if he's talking about the city in the Bay Area. Livermore beer works came out with a weapon X edition. Very good. Okay. All right. Let's see what else. All right. Let me go to John J. Do you see Jimmy G and Superman comparison? I don't know.
Let's hear it. John, come on, you have to.
Let's see Jimmy G Superman comparison. Probably. Like all of my female friends tell me that he looks like Superman. So I'm gonna agree with them.
Listen, I get it. Guys can appreciate other Superman looking guys,
That's true. All right. David says, is Russell Wilson a system quarterback? Yeah, he's been asking this question.
David, I don't know what that means. Like he has to work in a certain system. I mean, dumb it down for me.
Yeah. So basically, a system quarterback is a quarterback who basically knows the system very well and makes very little mistakes. So a lot of people don't understand that term system quarterback. It's basically a Tom Brady. A lot of people, the GOAT Tom Brady, was a system quarterback. He ran the offense very well, made very little mistakes, and he looked way better than he does. So David's is saying maybe the system that he played for so many years made him what Russell Wilson is. So he's basically saying that Russell Wilson will make very little mistakes, but he cannot win because he needs a good defense and a good running back to carry him. That's what David is saying.
That's a valid point. I mean, quite possibly. Like, I feel like he's a very type A guy. Like, he's always out on the field, first out on the field. Like, he puts in a lot of hard work. We just won't know until even a quarter of the season end, And I think anyone that comes in and plays with a whole new set of players, you're going to run into some issues. I mean, it's not the same wide receivers you're used to.
My boy David says, if Surtain can lock up Debo, Ayuk, Gray, and Kittle at the same time, then y'all said, which is true. Like, he's one player, which is true.
Which he can do that, so we're set.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Oh, yeah, he's talking about here in the Bay Area. We have a city called Livermore, California. And I'm from the Bay Area. I'm very lucky. We have a lot of these weird little cities. People talk about San Francisco, San Jose, and Oakland, but there are a lot of cities. So Brian says Livermore, California came out with the Wolverine, aka Weapon X character. All right.
Sick. Cool.
All right.
I'll visit.
All right. Let's see. Crazy Juice has something to say about Jimmy Garoppolo. So Jimmy G's weakness will be a piece of rocks.
I love it. And that's Javonte Williams. Yeah. Just kidding. That's offense.
Dylan says, trying to stay humble. All right, so Dylan and Tom, you're having your little bickering. I'm going to leave them alone. All right, Brian says,
boys.
They're going to have fun. John J, I got your back on your superhero also. Brian knows superhero stuff. Wonderful. Next time I talk to my boy Brian on Wednesday, he'll educate me on superheroes. Tommy says, Niners passing game is ranked 31st. Okay, never mind. Now you made me feel sad, Tommy. Now you made me feel sad. That's not good. Broncos secondary is good. All right, my boy Carcast. Shout out to my boy Carcast. Only 15 years old, already a podcaster. Talks 49ers. He's a youngster. He's the future.
Love that.
He's the future.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Way smarter than me. Way smarter than me. Shout out to my boy Carcast. I'm just Carcast intelligence. When I was at school, I was not the honor roll student. I was a kid that goofed around too much. I should have kept my grades up. That was me.
You know.
Yep. I never took nothing serious. All my teachers like, John, be good. No. That's why I was in detention so many times. Never right. John J, quiet. Don't tell your secrets. Keep that person. Yeah. I don't know if you were a good kid growing up, but I was not a good influence.
For the most part, I was very by the book.
Yeah. Corey Davis says Jimmy G does look like, and Corey Davis the GOAT. So, yep, that's true.
Corey, I agree.
Yep. All right. Tommy says, play Station 2. So, that's funny. All right. So, let's talk about, we all know, this guy, Deebo Samuel, is way better than, Cortland Sutton and your other receivers. Deebo's the GOAT, No comparison. But to tell us about your wide receivers.
Well, I mean, our top wide receiver is Jerry Jeudy, but he got injured last game pretty early on in the game. So Cortland Sutton then became our main target. And he actually, I believe he had the 5th most receiving yards in the NFL last game. So he was killing it. He stepped in when Jerry Jeudy couldn't. We're hoping Jerry Jeudy can come back in for this next game. But I mean, he's a good guy with a good heart, is what I think of Sutton.
Mm-hmm. Tommy says Jeudy is gonna play, so that's a positive.
Great, love it. Love to hear that.
There was a lot of 49er fans when he was drafted to the Broncos. They were so angry because they really wanted it. They also wanted CeeDee Lamb and but we got Deebo Samuel, who is way better than all these guys. Deebo's the best. We all know that. He's going to have like over 100 yards, and he's going to have more rushing yards than your running back Javonte, Williams. I'm just joking around.
So we're predicting now. We're predicting.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what Dylan, the Broncos fan, has to say. Cortland Sutton, my opinion, is the clear number one when they play 1 week. He has more targets than, and in general, I think Turin is a lot better for Russ Depot. Okay, cool.
I think he meant Sutton, yeah. Sure. I mean, great. I just want someone to catch the ball and get a touchdown. Whoever it is. Just catch the ball.
Yeah. So I want to bring this comment up because it has nothing to do, but Kyle knows how to neutralize great corners like Ramsey. So Tommy is speaking actually not Kyle, D'Amico Ryans is going to basically lock up, So shout out to all, the 49ers, great players who are going to show why the Broncos are not good. I'm just joking. I'm not a comedian.
We'll see tomorrow.
I'm not a comedian, but, I like to give some comedic takes to make the show a little bit funny because being stale, people want to see a little bit of some fun humor. All right.
I see.
So now let's move on from the players and let's talk about things that need to change for both teams. I know there's some things that the Broncos have been doing that that they need to change up. So what are something that they got to clean up? You talked about the penalties, in the goal line. So what are things that they have to clean up from the previous game in this game?
I mean, I think it's Nathaniel Hackett needs to make decisions when we're on fourth, because that's how we got those delay of games. I think there's I don't exactly know who's all play calling, if it's Russ, if it's Nathaniel. Like, I think there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but I think we need to truly just clean up making decisions. I think that is what is stopping us. So
Yeah. For the 49ers, like for me, like one thing that we need to do is what happened against the Bears. And I know some Bears fans are having fun, at the expense of me, because I felt the Bears were not a good team and the Bears beat us. But we had 12 penalties for almost 100 yards. That's how bad our penalties in that game. But in the following game, we only had one penalty, and we destroyed the Seattle Seahawks. That game should have been 27-0. But my boy Brian, who's a special teams guy, special teams hurt us. So our special teams need to make no mistakes. And of course, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mr. Superman, has to forget being, this superhero and be a good player on the field. So as long as Jimmy plays well, the offense moves down the ball, the way the defense has been playing, like, again, I know I'm overconfident, but on paper, the Niners are way better than the Denver Broncos. And that's like, some, stats and, analysis. But again, every time I've looked at an opponent and I felt that, this is going to be an easy road, those are the most dangerous opponents. So I'm not taking this game very lightly. So as long as we don't make no penalties, as long as we don't make no special team mistakes, and we basically run the offense like we know how to do, I think that's what the Niners have to do if they want to get this victory. So that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, historically, you guys are the better team for the past few years. We've had a rough couple of past few years, but there's lots of new changes this year. So if we can figure our stuff out, maybe it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a tough game, I think, for both teams.
Yeah. Dylan says Judy better than Rice. I hope he's not talking about the GOAT, Jerry Rice, who's like way better receiver than anyone in NFL history. And he says, "Nah, I am just playing." Okay, I was about to say Dylan, because never mind, never mind. Yeah, Jerry Rice, great receiver all time. Tommy says the Broncos are a good team. It's gonna be a tough game. Yeah, I agree with Tommy.
You changed your tone. You just said the Broncos suck.
Yeah.
Have I changed your mind? That's all that matters.
Tommy's a joker. He loves to joke, and then after that, he becomes serious. So Tommy is that guy who was like, he'll walk into a room and he'll start to trash talk, and then at the end of the event, he says, "I love you guys. You're my boys and my girls," and all that stuff. Tommy's
love it. I can be a boy. That's fine.
Brian says, "Who do you think will win the AFC West, Kansas or the Chargers?"
The Broncos.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, that's a fan right there. That's a fan right there, supporting their teams.
There we go, Dylan.
Says, yeah, because he's biased, so he's showing his Bronco. All right, Brian says it wasn't Gold's kick; it was the line. All right, me and Brian disagree with that, so I'm not going to even touch what happened. Gold took his forever time to kick that football, but let me keep going on. Tommy says, Dylan, yeah, the Chargers are better than y'all, honestly, and the Chiefs look dangerous. What do you agree with Tommy? What do you think about Tommy?
We were just on the same page.
Tommy, he says the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers. They look good every year, and then they're a 500 team. So yeah. The Raiders, no disrespect, my best friend in the whole world since we were little kids, he's a Raider fan, and he still thinks they're going to win the division. So he's being delusional. It's going to be
really.
Yeah. So it's going to be the Chiefs for sure. They're the best team in that division.
I mean, technically, if I had to choose and I took off my Broncos fandom, probably the Chiefs, but it's a tight division. Like, we're probably toughest division in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm. So my boy Crazy Juice said Chiefs 1, Chargers 2, Broncos 3. Do you agree with Crazy Juice?
No.
That's
I
all right.
can't. Like, my heart hurts to
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so now let's talk about some expectations, like, or some basically what to expect in the game. So basically, we don't have to talk about the score. We don't have to say who's going to win the game. But like, say, like maybe your running back, like, how many yards he's going to get, how, or something Russell Wilson's going to do, or your defense. These are just some game expectations. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to say this. Nick Bosa will get his usual 1 sack a game because he gets a sack all the time on the defense side of the ball. I think someone that no one is talking about is Samuel Womack. I think Samuel Womack is going to have a good game. This is our 5th round rookie that we drafted, and I think he's going to give your receivers a hard time because this guy, he sticks like glue with every receiver. Like, for whatever the reason, he just sticks on glue. So I think Samuel Womack is going to be someone that is going to be off the radar. But I think on the offensive side of the ball, my boy Jordan Mason, undrafted free agent, is going to have at least 55 yards and a touchdown. I think that's some expectations, what I think my team's going to do on the field. So that's my expectations for my 49ers. Yeah.
Well, let's see. For the Broncos, everyone's going to be healthy. So get in there, Judy, son, everyone. Defense, everyone's going to be healthy. Get in there, Patrick Surtain. Go get him. I think Russell is finally going to have a game that people are going to be like, this is why we drafted him. Although we should already, traded for him. We should already agree with that, but there are just some people that are like, this is crazy. He's not good, which I vehemently disagree with. And then since we're playing at home, I mean, I know we're not predicting scores or who's winning, but it's going to be us. Last time we played you guys at home, I think it was like 42-17 Broncos. So mile high, man. Dangerous for the Niners.
So we actually have a score prediction from Dylan Miller, the GOAT. He says 21-17 Broncos. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. And to be unbiased, like I said, no team is going to score more than 21 points. I think this game is going to be very physical.
I could see that, yeah.
And I think basically the 49ers, what they're going to do is that they're going to like start off by trying to attack. And one of the things that Jimmy Garoppolo, to be very serious, why a lot of 49er fan base moved away from him to Trey Lance. Unfortunately, Trey Lance broke his ankle out for the year. It's football. I really like Trey Lance, but one thing that Jimmy's going to do is, he's going to throw a lot of short passes. He's not going to even attempt to go deep because he loves throwing that stuff. So one of the things that Jimmy's going to do is like he's going to have a lot of yak yards. So we're going to move the ball very slowly, with the passing game. But the run game, we've been averaging like 180 yards per game in the first 2 games with a very bad offensive line, so no matter what. So it's going to be a very heavy run offense with the running back. So we're not going to see a lot of touchdowns. And Russell Wilson's going to have his issues because Nick Bosa, the last time he played him, he got Russell Wilson 6 times. He sacked him twice.
Oh, shit.
And got him 4 other times, but they were not recorded as sacks. But yeah, Nick Bosa, he's dangerous. Like, this guy is dangerous. A lot of people don't think of Nick Bosa, but he's way better than his brother. All right, Tommy says a lot of players are banged up on your team. Yeah,
correct.
True. Yep. Our injuries report, it looks like the worst, but 3 players are expected to play. All right, so that's pretty cool. Banged up means not a 100%. That's true. All right, we got a random emoji. I'm the worst guy when it comes to emojis. Tommy says we're gonna stop the run. That's a possibility. That's a great possibility. Brian has a score prediction. He says 28-10. Ooh, so we're gonna blow you guys out. Hey, I agree with Brian. Hey, I'll take that 28-10 score.
Damn, in Mile High? Okay.
Yep. Dylan says, I'm curious if y'all can cause our run game is good and Javonte. He'll be breaking tackles. If Javon Kinlaw is that Javon Kinlaw, your run game is going to, this is the guy. And you don't know this, but Javon Kinlaw and a Bay Area reporter, I'm not going to give you the details, they had a little bit of a scuffle. So this guy has a lot to prove to a specific beat writer. So he's going to be out there this entire year breaking running backs in half because, that beat writer really got into his head. But sometimes.
Wow.
So, yeah, and yeah, some of our media, they love to speculate, things. So,
oh yeah.
Corey says 49ers 25, and then he said the number 5. All right, Brian says we will dominate the time of possession. The Broncos will be forced to score quickly. Okay, that's something. David says Niners by 3, so everyone is giving their score predictions, and this is a 49ers chat room, so everyone's going to be just dropping their scores on the Niners' favor. We got a Buccaneers fan in the building. Let's see what my boy, the lone Buccaneer, says. What are your favorite? What are your feelings about Jimmy G being back as a starting quarterback? Hey, I'm a diehard 49er fan, and I'm gonna support Jimmy Garoppolo because if you're and I said this because a lot of my fan base, no disrespect, but you gotta support your team. If you're gonna boycott your team for one season because Trey Lance is not playing, go become a Raider fan because we have Raider fans in the Bay Area. It's disgusting how because Trey's not practicing. But I'm gonna digress. That's a different conversation. But a lot of 49er fans are just jumping off the ship and going to other teams. It's disgusting.
I get it.
Yeah. My boy Corey Davis says 24 49ers, Denver 14. All right, I'm just gonna go find all the score predictions. Crazy Juice also has the same score of Brian. Tommy says 23-21. 23-21. All right, Niners. All right. Jersey Dolphin, who's a Dolphins fan. San Fran 2000. Broncos. What? Wait a second. Hold on. Am I reading this correctly? The final score, 49ers 2000, Broncos 3 buckets.
Jersey Dolphins, what did we ever do to you? What did we ever do to you?
Wow. This is just like that Detroit Lions fan who says they were going to go score 300 points against the Bears.
I love it. I would say the same.
All right. Well, this was a fun show. It was fun, interacting with you, talking. You are a diehard Broncos fan. Like you are repping that team strong. You don't want the other teams in your division. The same as me. I will never give any of my other division rivals any credit. I'm a 49er since I was born and raised. But just like we always do on the 49ers Ultimate Report YouTube channel, let's all thank our wonderful guests for hopping on, talking 49ers and Broncos. And I want to say good luck, win or lose. I'm still going to rep the 49ers no matter what happens. But we always have this segment where you get to let the fans know who you are one more time. Talk about yourself. Talk about your channel. If you have any social media, this is the time for you to plug your channel because I'm trying to help the community on YouTube. Let the fans know who you are. This is your 2 minutes. Let them know about your YouTube channel. You are the host of Broncos for Dummies. And thanks again for having me.
Of course, John. Thank you for having me. So once again, I am Broncos for Dummies. I created Broncos for Dummies because I couldn't find anywhere that sort of broke down everything that was going on in Broncos country on a dummy level. So I thought me as a dummy I should do that. So I started creating clips, breaking down the last games, breaking down everything that you need to know that's going on, just like our massive shift that we had this offseason with new owners, new coaches, new quarterback, everything. And I will cover anything that I have DMs about that they want to know more about. So I just consider my channel a Spark Notes for Broncos country. If you're familiar with Spark Notes. But you can find me anywhere. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all Broncos for Dummies. And then Twitter makes it hard on me. And it has to be Broncos for Dummies because it's too long. So, but yeah, I'm most active on Instagram if you guys want to follow along any Broncos stuff. And go Broncos.
Yep,
Tomorrow's
go Broncos.
day.
Yeah, go Broncos. Go Broncos, go 49ers. And again, this is the reason why I introduced this series last year. It was fun, and I'm going to get to know more fans and podcasters that rep their teams. That's why this series was created, to sit down, get two objective people to talk about their teams. And this was a very special show, not my traditional show, how I do it with everybody else. I usually get podcasters, reporters, those who know the game, the film breakdowns. But it's always great to sometimes freestyle and just talk like two fans and talk football. But thanks very much for hopping on.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for not tearing me apart, 49ers.
Yeah. But with that said, this guy right here, this is John Jay. Yeah, with no H. John Jay right here, the host of Broncos for Dummies. Check her out on her YouTube channel and all her other platforms, and support her. And if you want to get to know what's going on with the Broncos, very quick, informative news stuff right there on the go. She's the person for you. But with that said, I'm John Jay. This is the 49ers Ultimate Report. You guys have a good rest of your Saturday. And of course, we have to say go Niners, not the Broncos. I'm just joking.
I get it.